I got beat up a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, I did too.
What was the stupidest fight that you were ever in? Like, what was a fight that was... There was no reason to be a fight. It was just over the dumbest shit.
I was in 6th grade, and I think it was just bubbling testosterone in 6th graders. Because there's this kid named Christian Churchwell. Take that name as you will. But that was his name.
We might have to bleep that.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever.
Let's call him Damien Orgy Sink.
All right. Damien Orgy Sink.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, I was in 6th grade English class with this dude. And we were just sitting there, and the teacher was just kind of talking about something. He turned around and asked me for a pencil. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then I accidentally elbowed, like my elbow got him when I was going for my pencil, and he just kind of pushed me. And I was like, just kind of looked at him. He just looked at me, and we just kind of gave each other a quick appraisal. So he just kind of shoved my shoulder, and I took my thumb and fucking tried to jam it in like that pressure point in the collarbone. Ooh. And then he just fucking like stood up, and then he stuck his pressure, or what do you call it? He stuck his finger like right there, like right kind of
on your throat.
Yeah, that
where
throat
it
pressure.
Your collarbone.
Yeah, so we pushed because we had this weird thing about pressure points when we were 6, but we were trying to hit each other's pressure points real hard.
6th graders being obsessed with pressure points.
I don't know, but we stood up in the middle of English class. It was dead quiet, and the only person talking was the teacher, and it was just us wrestling with pencils, and then just exploded into testosterone. We were just like punching each other all fucking. And then the English teacher was like, "Stop it!" So we're like, "Huh?" And then it was just like that. Both of us just like, "Huh?" snapped out of it and just normal. And so like we both got sent to the principal, and we didn't even have any hard feelings or nothing. Like that, just right out, we're like, "What's up, bud?" You know, so like we were in the principal's office. We were the first in all of our middle school to get Saturday school. Like we were the first Saturday school recipients for fighting randomly in the middle of class. And then we walked into Saturday school like, "Hey, what's up, man?" You know, just like, and we're still fucking friends to this day. Still fucking friends with that dude.
Aww.
Like, yeah. I don't know. That was the stupidest, most off the wall, like random bullshit.
Like it was an accident.
It almost was. It was just too much testosterone in 6th graders, just kind of blowing up.
And you didn't even really realize you were fighting until you got yelled at.
Yeah.
Huh.
That was that was seriously that was just stupid.
That happened to me a lot too. Not the testosterone poisoning, but like, you know, where I would get in fights with girls at school, and then afterward we would end up like buddies, or at least like if we weren't friends, we'd at least be like cool with each other. Yeah, you know, except that one girl that I ripped out her eyebrow ring.
Oh God, I don't
think there's any going back from that.
You know, whenever you get to know someone, you shake someone's hand, it's like, okay, whatever. And then you hug someone, it's like, oh, I kind of know this person a little bit better. I can like hug this person. And of course you bang people. You really know someone, you know. But then again, people don't always consider that when you fight someone, you kind of get to know them too. It
is kind of an intimate thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you really are being pretty intimate with someone in their face, even though you're trying to cause them bodily harm, or you're just trying to win, I guess, in a way.
Maybe that's why I come every time.
God! But I mean, look at even sumo. You know, people are constantly fighting each other all the time. I mean, there's rules in sportsmanship or whatever, but maybe that's why everyone is so tight in sumo, is because, you know, you fight somebody, you're getting all up close with someone all this whole fucking time. It's kind of like you're just giving everybody really aggressive, long hugs. Yeah.
Yeah, and then someone like me comes along and starts talking about orgasms. It makes it weird.
Because she's like that.
I'll admit it.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
This is Ugly Sinatra, the Unbathable, coming at you with a brand new mixtape. The Holy Roman Conquistadors of that fat ass. Volume 2, featuring Big Matlock.
This is DJ Sexless Marriage, coming to you live in 2022. And this is Sumo Punx.
Wow! Actually, this is Matt and Sabrina.
Or Sabrina and Matt. And this is NPR.
Anyway, welcome back to our week 1 coverage of the Haru Basho 2022. And oh my shit. We have some interesting news to start off with. I don't know if any of you have been hanging around Twitter and seen what a regular Twitter celebrity has been claiming recently.
Very broad and very far-reaching claims. So Elon fucking Musk, well, first he was challenging Vladimir Putin to a fucking judo match. It's just like, you and me, bud.
Come on, man.
Come on. That's whatever, Elon. How out of touch you gotta be. So he wants to fucking try and judo fucking Vladimir fucking
Let
Putin.
him. Fuck it. Let him. Maybe they'll
Cancel each other
will
out.
all get lucky and they'll knock each other into a coma. Who knows?
We could only wish.
But the weirdest thing about that was he also claimed that he had thrown a, quote, world champion sumo wrestler so hard he smashed a disc in his neck, causing, quote, insane back pain for 7 years.
Yeah, right.
Wait, the way that this is worded is like, okay, who was it? And, like, was it your back pain? Were you the one that got the smashed discs? Was it the
he was the
sumo
one with
champion?
I think he got the smash discs from throwing the sumo champion is what
Okay, if that's the case, how do you smash your own damn discs if you're the one throwing the other dude? How does that happen?
And liar land, that's like fucking probably a feasible injury.
Yeah, you know how he likes to pull things out of his ass.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, first of all, no you didn't. Second of all, okay, who's the fucking world champion? Was it an amateur champion?
And that's what everyone was saying too. Okay, who was it?
Yeah,
Name names.
Name names.
Picture it didn't happen, motherfucker.
And yeah, I even
This
had
is
to...
the internet.
So far, no takes on who the sumo world champion was that Elon Musk threw, resulting in smash discs for 7 years. But no, that's...
There's some speculations on who it might have been if this were a true story. I think, wasn't Biyama?
No, it says like
Or
maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly. I could maybe see like an amateur sumo
Biyama
wrestler.
would have just let him win.
I think if
Because he
Biyama...
felt sorry for him.
I was about to say Biyama might be just trying to be nice. You know, okay, who's this weird billionaire guy? Okay, I'll let you maybe throw me, pay my rent. I'll make you look good. Nah, I think Biyama he couldn't go out.
Fucking nerdy rich boy smashes discs in his own neck while sumo champion lets him win.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably the only feasible way I could see anything like that happening. I mean, like if it was like fucking Hakuho, yeah, fucking right.
Oh my god. I got the most beautiful image in my head of Hakuho just like forearm blasting him right to the fucking face.
Fucking god.
And he's got that expression that he's got, like, after he beats Tarano Fuji.
Like, yeah!
Like, ah!
I wish you could have seen her face when she did that. It was
Brilliant.
great.
Absolutely brilliant.
All right, so here we are with day 8. This is like some really quick updates for Juryo because we're recording this as day 8 is happening, and it's still Juryo. So
Yeah, there's Juryo going on in the background, but it's really good Juryo. We're really excited about what's happening back there. Atami Fuji,
ooh,
one of our little golden boys that
chubby
we've been following.
cheeks.
He's doing real good, sitting pretty there at 5-3.
Inho, also at 5-3. Our baby boys are doing fantastic.
Yep, keep up the good work, guys.
And then...
Oh, well, then we have Ryuden desperately attempting to uncancel himself by being the sole Kachikoshi on day 8.
Trailed by Kotonowaka at 7-1.
That's right.
That is the Juryo update since this is day 8 technically, but we're going to go back in time.
Yes. We're going to go all the way back to day 3. If you want to listen to any of our day 1 and day 2 coverage, you can check that out in episode 5, the beginning of the Haru Basho.
And this is like, we're getting into the meat sandwich of the basho.
Yes, we're getting all up in the cheese and the tomatoes and shit.
So we started out with, we're going to take a look at Chianokuni. And that's what we're going to start out first.
Yeah, we kind of set this up to look at each individual rishi and how they individually are doing as the days progress. First one in the lineup, Chianokuni, one of my guys, my fantasy sumo dude, Chiyonokunalingus. Love him to death. I only picked him because he's cute. Day 3 versus Tocha Notion.
Toch.
So they start out at 1-1 each. So they both have 1 win, 1 loss. Chiyonokuni is looking kind of like a sexy mummy up there, all taped up and shit. And at the Tachi, he bashes the fuck out of Toch.
Ah, goddamn.
Like, just really fucking rams into him. That wasn't just a satisfying meat smack.
And you know how much we love meat smacks at Sumo Punx.
That was a meat smack I felt in my own meat.
It was just flesh-rending.
Chiyonokuni manages to hold Toch at bay with a Nadawa, and as Toch moves forward, he maneuvers a Hikyotoshi on him.
Hikyotoshi victory for Chiyonokuni.
Yeah!
So, day 4, Chiyonokuni versus Aqua.
Yes.
Aqua headbutts the fuck out of Chiyonokuni, like 2 pumpkins being thrown at each other. It's like the microphone picking it up sounded like they were at a bowling alley. Like, seriously. So Aqua's big old buffalo head knocks back Chiyonokuni, trying to stand him up, and then pushes him out with the Nodowa. Chiyonokuni lunges forward, and Aqua pulls his arm like he's trying to do an Ipanzioi, but as he's trying to use the leg as a fulcrum, Chiyonokuni jabs his knee behind Aqua's and collapses his ass. And it was a Kiribaiyama, a twisting backward knee trip.
Yes.
Very rare Kimarite.
Very rare, indeed. Day 6, Chiyonokuni goes up against Kotokuzan. He gets slammed down by his injured shoulder.
Fuck.
In a, what was that move called?
Hitaki Komi?
Hitaki Komi. That's right.
Slap
I'm sorry.
down.
It was like at the tip of my tongue. I don't know. It's one of the more common ones.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hitaki Komi slap down. Right on that injured
Yeah, right on his shoulder. His shoulder that's all taped up and mummified. We think this is why he ended up pulling out the next day. So day 7, Chiyonokuni versus Teretsuyoshi. Teretsuyoshi gets this one because Chiyonokuni is Kyujo at that point.
Torn. I don't know if it's torn, but it's a left deltoid muscle injury is the official report.
Salt Bay gains a Fusensho victory over...
Boo hiss. No, not hating on Teretsuyoshi. Yeah.
So that was Chiyonokuni. We're sad to see him go, but it's important to take care of your body.
Definitely.
So good luck, Chiyonokuni. You were my bottom guy on my fantasy Banzuke, and he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, until he got his shoulder.
Drop out. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Kotokuzan.
Well, the next guy that we thought has been pretty fun to watch this Basho was Tocha Notion.
Tocha fucking Notion.
Yeah, so we heard about his day 3 with Chiyonokuni.
Day 4 versus Ichiyamamoto. It looks like Toch is diversifying.
Yes.
Yeah, usually more of a belt man and a grappler, but this time he opens up with the flurry of Tsupari, a lot more mobile than what we're used to seeing him. Looks like Grandpa took his pep pills.
Yeah, he was really dancing around that dojo.
Seriously, just jumping around. Ichiyamamoto was reaching for the belt, but Toch forearm blasts him. They're both going for a series of arm locks, belt grips, but slapping each other away. Nobody gets anything locked in. Tocha Notion then appears to have enough of that slapping shit and grabs Ichiyamamoto by the neck, twists him down. Kubi Hinari victory for Tocha Notion.
Yes, very good. Then on day 5, he went up against Kotokuzan. So Kotokuzan looked like he got Toch off balance a couple of times, but they both kept it up with a frantic exchange of slaps and thrusts until Toch started driving him backwards. Then Kotokuzan trips over the Tawara and falls forward, losing the match.
I mean, technically, Toch kind of pushed him out because when he caught himself, he had stepped out. So, I mean, that was Tocha's victory, but just that falling
It
forward.
looked like a pretty easy victory.
It was pretty comical, and he was making a face like, yeah.
Yeah, he seemed a little embarrassed.
Poor Jasper Kenneth.
Well, then day 6 was versus Chiyotairu.
Ooh-wee-oo, Chiyotairu. All right, so Chiyotaru as a pusher thruster doesn't have as much stamina as Tocha Notion with his grappling yokozuna style. Tocha Notion's mawashi starts to become like unraveled, and they lock up for a good while in a stalemate. Toch gets a good left inside grip on Chiyotaru's mawashi, and while Chiyotaru desperately tugs on the ever-loosening belt of Tocha Notion, threatening to dump out his Georgian jewels all over the dojo, Toch lifts him up and out of the ring. What was that? Tsuridashi victory.
Yeah, I can't
Tsuridashi. He picked him up and plopped him out.
Very good. Very good, Tocha Notion. Keep up the good work. Another Rikishi who we thought has been doing pretty good this Basho was Teretsuyoshi.
All right, day 3, Teretsuyoshi versus Chiyotaru. So on day 3, they both started out on 1-on-1. Teretsuyoshi starts out low. They kind of just hold each other at bay, kind of in a deadlock. Chiyotaru tries to bust out an arm lock, but Teretsuyoshi looks like he's going for the left inside grip. Chiyotaru's bucking him off like a bronco. Chiyotaru tries a kotonage arm throw, but Teretsuyoshi recovers and executes his own Shitate Hinari twist down. Victory for Teretsuyoshi.
Flawless victory.
For Salt Bay.
Then on day 6, he goes up against Aoyama. Aoyama tries to Supari Teretsuyoshi, pushing him up from the low tachi-ai. But Aoyama just kind of stands there, not really using the rest of his body to push forward. Like, he was just playing...
Just play slapping him.
Like, play slapping, yeah. Like, play slapping with him as he tries to resist. They did end up getting locked up. Teretsuyoshi with a deep inside grip and Aoyama with an outside grip. Salt Bay then tries a couple of throws, which is hard to do against a man-mountain like Aoyama. But he got him knocked unsteady enough to maneuver a Sukuyanagi beltless arm throw, flinging him to the clay. Aoyama, I think, was probably a little distracted. He did gain his Japanese citizenship recently. He was probably thinking about...
Just daydreaming a bit.
Yeah, all
it's
of
like,
that
what's my elder
stock.
name going to be? It's like, oh, thinking about Kabu. Bam! Slammed into the clay. All right, next
You're
Rikishi.
Not retired yet, Aoyama.
Get your head in the game. All right, next Rikishi, Ishiira. So we start on day 3, Ishiira versus Kotonowaka. So Kotonowaka just kind of stands Ishiira right up at the tachi-ai, and you can tell it looks like that's the moment Ishiira got injured. Like, his neck was just at a really bad angle, and when they smashed together, his neck kind of like, I don't know, it didn't look good. He just kind of stops, and that's when Kotonowaka is able to administer an Oshidashi victory. Ishiira just kind of falls off the dojo, and he's clearly in pain, and I think did he land on the shimpan?
It landed on him, or maybe just right next to him. I don't know, but wasn't one of the announcers like talking shit about him?
Oh yeah,
something?
Maya Naomi, the former Maya Naomi, was talking all kinds of shit. It was so fucked up. Like, just like, Ishiira arriving in pain was cooling down the excitement of the room, which is bad for the customers. It's like, fuck you, dude. He was fucking injured. He hurt his goddamn neck, and you're more pissed off that, he was cooling down the excitement. Shit was serious.
These old dudes are so much more concerned about, like, how does it look than, somebody who's clearly in pain and injured. That's so fucked up. And then people were like, you should just fucking retire, dude. That's fucked up.
Yeah, all kinds of people, especially on Japanese Twitter, were really laying into Maya Naomi, calling him anachronistic. It's just like, you care more about aesthetics than safety. Get out of here, you dinosaur. Retire from announcing already, motherfuckers.
I am really happy to see some of the criticisms of the JSA in general recently.
Seriously.
And how basically just these very tradition-oriented old dudes are making these really bizarre decisions about various things, the future of sumo, and it's like, guys, come on, if you care about it, then you gotta learn how to fucking adjust when necessary. You have to, in this case,
and prioritize the safety of the Rikishi.
Exactly. Learn how to fucking prioritize the safety of the dudes who are doing the actual fighting.
And putting money in your pocket, motherfucker.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Fucker.
and ran. So, because of that, Ishiira was Kyujo as of day 4. He was out due to exacerbation of cervical radiculopathy. That's a pinched nerve in the neck, causing pain and weakness radiating into the chest or arm. So, and that was for you, Maya Naomi. Get better soon, Ishiira. We love you. We miss you. You muscly little man, you.
That just kind of came out. All right. Who do we got next?
Abi.
Abi, everybody's favorite bad boy.
And such a bad boy he is.
So on day 3, he goes up against Kiribaiyama. Abi already has both arms out at the Tachi-ai and immediately starts unloading on Kiribayama. Gives him the fucking E-Honda treatment to the head and to the neck, just thrusting him right off the dojo.
Didn't know what hit him.
Nope. Very classic Abi-style sumo.
Abi Sumo.
Day 5 versus Tocha Notion. Abi launches Tocha Notion into Hoshoryu right after Daisho had just thrown Ura into him.
So he had
We'll get to that one in a moment.
So we also have day 7, Abi versus Ura. Ura was not ready at that Tachi-ai.
No.
Either he wasn't ready or he was anticipating, Abi moving toward him with both arms, so he just kind of jumped back.
He seemed kind of surprised to me. He forgot that he was on the dojo at all or something.
But Abi still managed to catch him like a greased little piggy, and Ura tried to go low and grab at the belt. Abi finally made his pull-down attack work, but the result was so inconclusive they had to have a mono-ii. But ultimately, they declared that it was Abi's victory as Ura's gut flopped to the clay before Abi had stepped out.
Fucking Ura's gut
is full of dirty little cheeseburgers. All right, so now
Only the cool kids are going to get that reference.
Or the old kids.
All right, who do we got next?
Hoss.
Hoshoryu?
Fucking Hoss. Have you noticed, like, whenever he goes, when he's right at the Shikura-sen, he kind of does this little horsey stomp thing. He's like...
More like horse Shoryu.
I don't know. He's the golden boy, but I don't know. I think because I heard the sumo soul refer to him as Hoss, I've just been attributing these very horsely qualities to Hoshoryu.
Yeah, he seems to be everybody's favorite these days.
Yeah.
Maybe the other Rishi know that, and that's why they're trying to, launch their opponents into him. Who knows? We have day 3 versus Takakesho. So, Hoshoryu versus Takakesho. Takakesho charges from the Tachi-ai.
Like he does.
He's already ready with his hands at the Shikura-sen, chomping at the bit. Hoshoryu is trying to stare him down. Then when they both give their mutual consent to start, Takakesho immediately charges, locks up with Hoshoryu, and drives forward.
Yeah.
Haas gets fucking railroaded here. Then, when Hoshoryu realizes his foot is at the Tawara, he plants himself firm and swings around Takakesho with his own momentum, Sukui Nagi, beltless arm throw.
Yeah, they called him mono-ii, but it was pretty clear that was Haas's victory.
Yep. Day 5, Haas versus Wakataka Kage.
Wakataka fucking Kage. So after having 2 dudes fall on him and Wakataka Kage's Mata false start, he just didn't seem like he was at 100%. And that did make an easy win for Wakataka Kage by Yorikiri.
I can't wait to see what his uncle tweets at
Oh,
him.
God, I know.
I haven't looked yet.
Leave him alone.
I'm sure it's some, cheeky little...
Probably
one
just some emoji.
fucking tweet that he can try to play off as I wasn't trying to be a shit dick. I was just posting emojis.
Leave Hoshoryu alone.
Leave him alone. All right, then we got day 6, Hoshoryu versus Abi.
Oh, yeah. So Abi starts off with his patented 64 machine gun palms attack, driving Hoshoryu to the bales, but Haas plants himself, bending back like Matrix style. Abi attempts a pull down, but that gives Hoshoryu the momentum needed to charge forward and push Abi out of the ring right into another Shimpan.
Yep. Man, the Shimpans are really taking it.
I know.
This tournament. All right, another one of our little golden boys. Next up is Ura.
Yeah, he's at Maegashira 1. He does seem to be having a bit of a difficult one.
Give him time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is going, against the Joy division. Well, the Joy, the guys that fight the fucking, not like.
I know what you mean. Yeah, so maybe for people who don't know what that means, though, let's explain what that is.
Oh, Joy Division is okay. We're not talking about the goth band from the 70s.
Post-punk, technically.
Post-punk, but we're talking about Joy are the Rikishi that
J-O-I.
J-O-I. Yeah, they're the ones that have to fight the yokozuna pretty much.
Yep.
And they get preferential treatment from the JSA when it comes to ranking.
Yep. So, day 3, Ura versus Tarano Fuji.
Tarano fucking Fuji.
Tarano Fuji pops in with the forearm blast first thing. This does little to deter Ura, who goes in on the shoulder to lock in a Katasukashi. Katasukashi. I'm going to figure out how to pronounce these words one of these days. Katasukashi. So he circles around the Tawara to try to get enough momentum to pull Teru out. And I'm sitting here actually thinking, holy shit, Ura's gonna win. And you see, just as they're at the edge, Tarano Fuji gives Ura one last forearm shot to the side of the face before he steps out. And the Gyoji actually calls it for Ura.
I was stoked. I was like, oh my god, finally. But then...
Yeah. So they obviously have a mono-e and discover that Ura's heel bends back just enough over the Tawara to touch the clay a millisecond before Tarano Fuji
literally
steps out.
Just a millisecond. And it was just that little part of his heel, just that little bit.
He could have had it.
I know. If he could have stayed balanced on the Tawara.
He could have just kept his back. I think it was that blast to the side of the head by Tarano Fuji's forearm as he was going out.
You could tell, even though there was a mono-e and everything, Ura's face was just like, he knew.
Well, then we had day 4 versus Shodai.
So Ura starts a little bit back from the Shikira-sen, typical low tachi-ai, but it looked like Shoudai was ready until Ura grabs his wrist, spinning him around. At that point, he was able to grab the back of Shodai's mawashi and just launch him out. Okuridashi win for Ura. That was done very fashionably. It was a beautiful execution of a move, and it looked like he knew he wanted to make a showy Kimarite, and he did.
Mm-hmm. He really did. That was some good sumo from Ura that day, and I think Shoudai, he's kind of not been doing so well, and he's looking so dejected.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about him in just a moment. Last notable fight from Ura that we have on the list so far, anyway, is day 5 versus Daisho.
Daisho.
He got pummeled straight off the doyo into Hoshoryu. This is one of the times where Hoshoryu had a rikishi thrown at him. Then Abi was launched.
Launched Takanosho.
Yeah, that's right. He wasn't launched. He launched Takanosho into Hoshoryu right after that. So
day 5 was rough
can't win them
on
all.
the Haas.
Yeah.
All right.
And on Ura, being the one thrown into Hoshoryu.
Yeah, Ura is having a really difficult first week of the Basho, but, sometimes these guys that are in these meat grinder positions like Komusubi or, Maegashira 1, whenever they get to the second week, sometimes that could make up for a very brutal and kind of piss poor first week.
I think we're probably going to see that from Ura because you can see that he really still has that tenacity.
He does.
He really does. Unlike Shoudai.
I know.
Not that
he's just sick.
Not that I'm going to hold it against him because, he is.
He's our goth child.
Exactly.
He's our baby bat.
He's our little baby bat, goth Shoudai. Day 5 versus Ono Show. After a lackluster first few days, he finally started to look like he was getting his groove back. So he got stood up easily at the tachi-ai, but then clung to Onosho, preventing him from getting good enough momentum to bust out any good moves. While he was struggling, Shodai was able to grab his belt and execute an Watanage. This was the first win of the Basho for Shodai. He is really struggling. His poor little lungs are just so achy from the plague. But the Shodai Defense Force is here to cheer him on. We still believe in you, Shodai.
He's struggling and he's sick, poor guy, but honestly, I still believe in him. I mean, even if he gets something like 7 and 8, he might still lose his ozeki status, but he'll at least make it known that he put everything he had into it.
Well, after that, on day 7, he goes up against Meisei.
Shodai ignites a fire under his own ass on day 7.
Fuck yes.
So he was rugged at the Tachiai. He manages to get lower than Meisei and stands him up. And they're dancing around. He attempts a couple of Sukui Nage. Meisei resists, resulting in a further dance around the dojo before Shodai finally manages to swing him off balance and fling his ass to the clay. It took a little bit of effort, but he flung him down. So Shodai ends this match looking exhausted and definitely a little relieved. Probably still thinking about, man, what could I have done better?
Yeah.
He's always a little dour, but I could definitely tell he was relieved. Like, oh, okay, so it's not just one win.
Yeah, at least he's I think at day 7 with 2 wins, that's still a bit worrisome, but hopefully by the second week he's going to be feeling a bit better and start to really get into his groove again.
Yeah. So another golden pony we've been keeping our eyes. Golden pony. Kiribaiyama. Bow, bow, bow.
God, how many references to obscure 90s music are we gonna make
We're
in this
old.
fucking
We do that.
podcast?
All right, so Kiribaiyama, day 5 versus Matakayumi. Kiribaiyama gets really low on Matakayumi, squirming his way under his center of gravity. He gets a left outside grip and lifts him up and out in a Yorikiri victory, giving Matakayumi his first loss and looking very pleased with himself. He does kind of have these Elvis kind of vibes and facial expressions, but that was like hey, I want that one.
He does, for sure. Day 7, he goes up against Ichinojo, who attempts to slam Kiribaiyama with his shoulder, but Kiribaiyama parries. They start to go for grips and end up kind of just in an arm lock stalemate.
For a while, too.
Yeah, they stay that way for a bit, both making some quick attempts at belt grips, equally held at bay by one another. Kiribaiyama attempts to catch his breath, resting his face right there in Ichinojo's cleavage. And as Ichinojo was attempting to outmuscle him, Kiribaiyama responds with a quick nodowa, then captured Ichinojo's side, maneuvered behind him, grabbed the knot of his mawashi, and pushed him out with an okuridashi.
Yep, back push out.
That's the way to do it with Ichinojo. You really got to get behind him.
Yeah, any type of
if
big
you can.
dudes.
For sure, any type of big dude. If you're trying to move a mountain, do it from the backside. I don't know.
Back or the side.
I've never moved a mountain before.
All right, so the next golden pony, Wakatakakage. So we started out day 3, Wakatakakage versus Meisei. Wakatakakage gives Meisei a gnarly headbutt at the Tachiai, knocking him off kilter, immediately went under his center of gravity, and just escorted him out the dojo.
Yeah, pretty good sumo on day 3 against Meisei. Then we have day 6, Wakatakakage versus Takanosho. Wakatakakage slams his forehead into Takanosho's shoulder, and he responds with a pretty mean Nadawa, attempting to launch into a pushing thrusting attack. But the wily Wakataka uses the bales to brace himself against the attack. Wakatakakage goes for a belt grip, but Takanosho defends by attempting a slapdown. Wakataka then turns the tables with a slapdown of his own, avoiding Takanosho's lunge attack, dancing around him with grace and brutality as he slaps his dick into the dirt.
Dick into dirt.
Dick dirt.
All right, so day 7, it was Wakatakakage versus Daisho. Daieisho. So Daieisho has an excellent tachi, executing his piston attack right from the start. He drives Wakataka back to the bales, but he dodges right at the last minute. Daieisho gets disoriented. Wakataka stands him up by his armpits, grabs his belt, and lifts him up and slams his ass out of the ring backwards. That was a brutal fucking Kimarte.
It was pretty awesome. Next up, we have Tamawashi. Starting with day 5 versus Tarano Fuji. Tamawashi decidedly wins this one with a series of fierce Nadawa attacks. It was very quick and precise, winning by Oshi Taoshi against the yokozuna. Tarano Fuji does not come back for day 6.
It was his calcaneus.
However, Tamawashi did come back on day 6 against Shodai. Tamawashi moshes Shodai out with reckless abandon. Tsukidashi win for Tamawashi, with Shodai looking extremely dejected.
I felt bad. I was kind of sad.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens to Shodai in the second week. Hopefully he'll be able to pick his ass up and
maybe
maybe
he'll do what he usually does when he's Kataban and just gets his 8 wins and just stays at Ozeki.
I don't know. I think if that is truly what he's been doing this whole time, I think that was quite a gamble, because he must not have expected for a plague to roll in and put him in the position that he's in now.
No, that's the wild card.
Yeah, but we'll just have to wait and see. We did have some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the honorable mentions?
So some of the honorable mentions that we watched. So the ones that we talked about were the ones that really stood out to us, that we really wanted to talk about. But there were some that did stand out. Just they're worth talking about. So we're gonna go day 4, Chiyoshoma versus Hokuto Fuji. After bouncing their skulls off one another, Hokuto Fuji starts to bull Chiyoshoma to the edge. Chiyoshoma goes for a pull down that turns into a full-on charge from Hokuto Fuji, ramming Chiyoshoma out of the ring. When pull down attacks go wrong.
Ooh. Day 4, Takakesho versus Daieisho. Starts off with a pretty ferocious tachi. Takakesho has his arms primed before Daieisho does. Just a furious exchange of pushes and thrusts. Daieisho had Takakesho in a pretty mean Nadawa until Takakesho smacks him away, locks him in his own Nadawa. As Daieisho tries to escape, Takakesho uses his momentum to push him out of the ring.
All right, so then we have day 5, Kotonowaka versus Shimano Umi. Oh, sideburns. So it looks like sideburns might have won that tachi. They were both going for some sort of grip. They were locking up, pushing at each other's shoulders. Shimano Umi gets an outside left grip on Kotowako's belt, and it looks like he's going to twist him out of the ring, but then Kotowako kicks off the doyo with enough force to launch himself horizontally into the air towards Shimano Umi, using his own momentum against him to push him backwards out of the ring while in midair, suspended.
While, like, horizontal in midair.
Straight up Superman Shimano Umi.
Or, like, you remember that one of the last episodes of Peacemaker where he has the helmet that turns
the anti-gravity helmet?
No, not the anti-gravity helmet. The one that turns you into, like, a human rocket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of like that. I don't know. For anybody that watches that fucking show.
It's great. All right, so then we have day 6, Matakayumi versus Meisei. Mm-hmm. Matakayumi goes and gets his favorite grip and just drives Meisei out.
Yep.
Pretty much Matakayumi doing great so far with beautiful form. Poor Meisei's just kind of flounder in this basho.
Yeah, he's another one, kind of like what we're seeing with Shodai. We just got to kind of see how he does. Maybe the first week's not going to go too well, but maybe the second week will be better.
It's a very teeth-sucking performance.
All right, day 7, Tobisaru versus Miogiryu. Starts out with a deft hinka, the best sumo move, by everyone's favorite leaping monkey, Tobisaru. Miogiryu is too smart for this shit. Goes for a Nadawa attack, but Tobisaru responds with a Tsukiotoshi thrust down attack and wins the match anyway.
You know, Chiyoshoma was the one that was doing most of the hinkas so far this year, and it was a nice change of pace to see Chiyoshoma trying to do some honest sumo, and then Tobisaru starting to do some leaping.
What's so dishonest about a henka?
I think old Sumo Mainichi might have some things to say about that. They were saying Chiyoshoma is a dog act. And then
I've noticed you've been loving that term.
I love that term, but I looked it up, and apparently in Australian slang, a dog act is like a betrayal, like a backstab. Like
whatever.
I mean, it is.
If your sumo isn't good enough to handle a henka, you need to get your ass out of the dojo. For real. You got to be prepared for anything.
All right, so
Best move in sumo.
Man, I don't know. It's a tool, you know. It's a good tool to have, and it's a good tool to use. But you know, you don't want to use a screwdriver all the time when a wrench would do.
What?
Nothing.
Wait, what?
Anyway,
What?
I'm just talking.
Why would you want to use a wrench for something a screwdriver is required for?
You don't want me to go into that.
I don't want to ever see you fix anything.
All right. So Tarano Fuji is out day 6 due to his calcaneus injury. It's a contusion of the heel bone and osteoarthritis of the left knee. And as of this recording, the Makuuchi hasn't quite gotten to the Sanyaku ranks yet. So Takayasu is the sole leader of day 7. Possibly. I shouldn't say anything. I don't want to jinx him.
Nah, don't jinx him.
I'm not going to jinx him. So
but a lot of people have been thinking the same thing you're thinking right now.
Yeah, but I do want the fuzzy wuzzy Filipino Papa Bear to pull out some miraculous acts.
I'm sure we're going to see many more good things from him this Basho. All right, let's go watch the day 8 and then come back and let these folks know how that went.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Here we go. Let's all go to the liquor store. Let's all go to the liquor store. Let's all go to the liquor store and buy some Steel Reserve.
Oh God, it had to be the 211. It's giving me flashbacks.
All right. All right, it's okay. We'll get through this.
So speaking of getting through things, we are halfway through the Basho. It is day 8. Well, technically it's day 9, but yeah, we got up through day 8.
They don't need to know that.
Oh well, whatever.
They don't
We're time
need
travelers.
to know our secrets. And how bad we are at keeping a schedule and how we can't ever fucking record anything in a timely manner, and that's why like half of our episodes have been released late. You know what? We don't even have a schedule. Okay, we release episodes whenever we decide we want to release episodes.
That's
because
pretty
we're
much.
punk rock. We don't abide by your fucking Gregorian calendar of white supremacy, okay?
Well, you know.
We're breaking down the system here. All right, what happened in day 8? What do we got?
All right.
We're midway through the tournament now, and there's been some exciting developments since day 1. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about our old boy Tocha Notion on day 8?
All right, Tocha Notion versus Yutakayama. Yutakayama was a bit lower at the Tachiai. He stands Toch up, and it seems like Tocha Notion just absorbed most of the shock. Didn't
Yeah.
even put a dent in him. So Toch was quicker than Yutakayama. He got himself lower and then pushed him out. Day 8 score for Tocha Notion, 5-3.
Tocha's been pretty quick this Basho.
He's been moving around a lot more. He's
Yeah.
a lot more mobile than I've seen him in a
I don't know where
while.
he got all the energy from. Maybe he's just super excited about the... We don't know what it is. It might be a mansion or it might be a hotel that he's building back in Georgia. The translations are a little off, I think. But, you know, he's definitely thinking about the construction going on back home.
He's getting giddy.
Yeah, getting excited about the future, I think.
Making him jump around. So next we have Takayasu versus Wakamoto Haru.
Oh my god, Takayasu in this Basho. So Daddy Bear comes in low and solid at the Tachiai. Wakamoto Haru was pushing with all his might, the way you might push against a concrete barrier or something. Takayasu goes for some belt grips. all his muscles working in tandem with precision. Wakamoto Haru tries to land a couple of belt grips, but Takayasu deflects and breaks everyone. They end up in a stalemate for a moment, and then Takayasu manages to get a right outside grip on Wakamoto Haru's mawashi, which was a bit loose, but even with that loose mawashi, Takayasu was able to spin him around into a watanage.
That was masterfully done.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wakamoto Haru at 5-3 now. Takayasu, the sole Kachikoshi on day 8 with 8-0 at the midway point in the tournament.
He really is starting to look a lot like the ozeki level Takayasu that when we first started getting into sumo and just seeing him just dominate.
He's a fuzzy-wuzzy warrior!
He is. All right, next we have Hokuto Fuji and Tobisaru. This was some drama.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, first of all, Tobisaru, great butt.
Yes.
I don't know how he didn't win the best buns vote, but whatever.
I don't know what it was about this specific match that made Tobisaru's butt just, it was like a light shining down from heaven. But anyway, continue.
As they clash at the tachiai, they both have their hands up, kind of holding each other at bay. It was kind of a rather cushioned tachiai. Mm-hmm. They both go for some pushing and thrusting. Tobisaru manages to slip under his opponent's arms and drives him to the bales. Hokuto Fuji rallies and heads right back to the middle of the doyo. Both Rikishi try to out-muscle each other. Hokuto Fuji then gets a left outside grip. Tobisaru goes in for a series of tsukuinages. They kind of teeter and totter against each other's momentum, trying to throw each other, but it was Tobisaru who managed to secure a tsukuinage at the bales. Both wrestlers hit the clay, and it's called for Hokuto Fuji, but Mono-ii. The Mono-ii results in Torii no Oshi rematch. Mm-hmm. So then it becomes a battle of stamina during the rematch bout. Tobisaru starts to falter a little bit, gives Hokuto Fuji the chance that he needs to push him out via Oshidashi. Both Rikishi in day 8 of the tournament at 4-4.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting.
There was like lots of nail biting. Couldn't anticipate. It was a very nervous couple bouts.
Yeah, it made me anxious for sure. All right, next up we have Wakatakakage versus Ura. Quite aggressive tachiai from Ura today compared to yesterday against Abi.
Yeah, what was that?
Who knows, but whatever it was, he seems to be over it today. He looks like he almost has Wakatakakage at the edge of the doyo for just a split second. Like he may have been able to land a pull down, but then it looks like maybe he realizes that isn't going to be feasible as Wakataka resists him. And like he may have been trying to get behind him because he moves away from the edge. This gives Wakatakakage the opportunity to push Ura to the other side of the ring using his immense strength. He looks like an American football player pushing one of those like tackle sled thingies as Ura is just like standing there maintaining his stance, just being like muscled across the doyo. Ultimately, Wakatakakage's very efficient assembly line sumo lands him the right inside grip, driving Ura backwards out of the ring with a yorikiri victory. Midway through the tournament, they have opposite scores, Wakatakakage at 7-1 and Ura at 1-7, struggling at his career high position of Maegashira 1.
I know, poor guy. He's trying so hard, but
you could tell he is trying very hard, and it's such a struggle. He was one of the ones who had caught COVID out of the 200 and something, and maybe he's having kind of the same issue that Shodai's been having, along with being at the highest position of his career right now and having to go up against so many other opponents who are so skilled and strong. So we'll see what happens as the tournament progresses for Ura in week 2.
So we have honorable mentions, Abi versus Daisho. Abi fires off a series of Norawa attacks right off the bat. Daisho tried to charge at him, which gave Abi the opportunity he needed to dart to the side. He got behind Daisho and just pushed him out from behind. Very good, very quick sumo from Abi, who stands at 6-2 on day 8. Daisho at 4-4.
Then another honorable mention is Shodai versus Kiribaiyama. Kiribaiyama immediately secures a left grip at the tachiai, but then Shoudai locks up his right arm with his own left arm, defending against the belt grip, swings him around by his arm. Kiribaiyama tries to hook Shoudai's leg, but by this point, it's too late.
Too late.
Shoudai gets a position behind him and then pushes Kiribaiyama out of the ring. Mirror scores with Shodai at 3-5 and Kiribaiyama at 5-3. I think Shodai might be starting to feel a bit better because he's really starting to bust out some good moves lately.
He is. I think he's getting his confidence back. Maybe he's feeling like, okay, I can do this.
Maybe he's getting all the lung butter out so he can breathe a bit better.
All right. Then we have Mitakayumi versus Hoshoryu. And it was over in an instant as Mitakayumi just muscles Hoshoryu off the doyo. Complete domination by Mitakayumi, who is at 7-1, Hoshoryu at 4-4. And then last we did see Takakesho versus Onosho, but he just swatted Onosho like a fly. That was pretty much the end of that.
Yeah.
So top Rikishi at the midway point, we have Takayasu, who is Miogiryu 7. He is the sole Kachikoshi with 8-0.
Miogiryu 7 at 8-0 on day 8.
Some wild shit.
Takayasu, where has this been this
for the
whole
last couple
time?
years?
What's been going on, bud? Like, why this tournament?
It's just a comeback.
I don't know. Was he one of the ones who caught COVID?
I don't know. I think he he was. I think he might have been.
Maybe in like 0.00001% of people, COVID gives you like superpowers or some shit. Who knows? Maybe Takayasu is one of the lucky ones who.
I think what it was is that since he had the January Basho off, that he was able to rest and recuperate, mend a little bit more. So I think having that extra
rest. That's right.
rest.
We did talk about that. Yeah.
That's what I think it was.
See, that just goes to show, don't ever work yourself too hard. Rest when your body says rest, and you'll be able to go even further.
Hell yeah. And then we have Mitakayumi Ozeki at 7-1. Wakataka Kage Sekiwaki at 7-1.
Very good, Wakataka Kage.
Yeah, he's been
I'm
looking
very
really
impressed
good.
with him this Basho.
Takakesho Ozeki at 6-2, and Abi Sekiwake at 6-2. And then we get to our fantasy sumo.
You know what? We don't have to talk about this. I don't think they want to hear.
I made some bad decisions, but I'm not doing terrible.
I think everybody was traumatized enough by that weird 900 hotline number fantasy sumo commercial that we did on, what was that, episode 4?
Yeah,
and they don't want to hear anything about fantasy sumo anymore. We don't have to talk about this. It's okay.
Do you know why she's saying that?
Shut up. Nobody wants to know why.
I'm at 36 after day 8, and she's at 20. He's like, I don't want to play this game. I'm not playing anymore.
If it were like a
she's
board
a Monopoly
game,
board
I would
flipper.
just flip it over.
See, she's a board flipper.
It's not fair. Why can't I win things when I choose them based on how cute they are?
I know, right? Chiyomaru, what are you doing to me? So that's our show. If you want to talk shit to us and ridicule us about our fantasy sumo picks, you can email us at sumopunx@gmail.com.
I dare you.
You want to call us out on Twitter
you think
in
the
public.
cloacas sound nasty.
Twitter at punksumo, Instagram and Facebook Sumo Punx. Come talk shit to us. Let's see what you're made of.
Oh, hey, we're on Spotify now, too.
Oh, we are on
Don't forget.
Spotify.
And we are on Amazon Music, or is it Amazon Podcast? And apparently we're on Audible as well, although I was not able to find us on Audible.
It says we're on Audible.
Either way, we're selling out. We're part of the evil empire now. Mostly because it's free.
Yeah, but keep an eye out. You probably... recommend us to your friends. Make sure you tell them you probably don't want to listen to us loudly in public, or do. But that's our show. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time for the end of the Boss Show and for gloating. I'll see you next week. Bye.